Thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. My name is Felicity Ezewige. President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged the continuous support of the country for the fight against terrorism and other crimes, especially in the western sub-central region of Africa. The president made the promise on Monday in Lomé, the Togolese capital, during a joint summit of the Economic Community of Central African States and the Economic Community of West African States. President said, and I quote, "Nigeria will continue to support any efforts directed towards peace building, security and stability, as well as the fight against terrorism and violent extremism in our two sub-regions and the world at large, as an active member of the Global Counter-Terrorism Forum," end of quote. To ensure maritime security and effective border control, President Buhari appealed for inter-regional collaboration. The Imo State House of Assembly yesterday impeached the Deputy Governor, Mr. Eze Madumere. He was impeached by 19 out of the 27-member Assembly. The Speaker of the House, Acho Ihim, said the impeachment followed the outcome of a report of a 7-man panel which was constituted by the Chief Judge of the state to investigate allegations of gross misconduct and abandonment of office by the Deputy Governor. In Kano State, same impeachment. Yesterday, the House impeached its Speaker, Abdullahi Atta, alongside 2 other principal officers. He was replaced by the immediate past Speaker, Kabiru Rurum, who was impeached over alleged bribery scandal. The motion for Mr. Atta's impeachment was raised by Labaran Madari, a member representing Warawa constituency, and seconded by the lone member of the People's Democratic Party, Abdullahi Mohammed. On May 15th, it was reported that 24 members of the Assembly signed for Atta's removal, but the state governor intervened. The Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, have faulted the attempt by 8 out of the 30 members of the Benue State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Samuel Ortom. In a statement jointly signed by their media aides on Monday, both leaders described the situation in Benue State as a desecration of the legislative sanctity. They argued that the action of the Benue lawmakers on the platform of the All Progressive Congress in the House was illegal. The National Assembly leaders warned that the situation in the Benue Assembly has grave implications for the nation's democracy. They, however, said they would work with lawmakers in both chambers of the National Assembly to prevent any attempt to destroy any state legislature. The Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the All Progressive Congress, APC, and the APC National Chairman, Adams Oshomole, not to conduct any Congress in Imo State until August 21st. The vacation judge, Justice Babatunde Kadri, also ordered the plaintiffs, Senator Osita Izunaso, Senator Ben Wajimogu, Mr. Matthew Omegara, Mr. Hilary Eke, and Mr. Patrick Uzoku, to maintain status quo until the same date. The judge gave the order on Monday while ruling on an application filed by the counsel to the plaintiffs, Mr. Ahmed Raji. Raji had asked the court to restrain all parties in the matter for conducting any primary in the state, ward, or local government until the next adjourned date of the suit. Nigeria's police force has busted a kidnapping syndicate based in its federal capital territory, Abuja, parading the suspects at the police command headquarters located at the nation's capital. The police said 2 suspects were rescued, though one was later found out to be the mastermind of the kidnap.
On the 20th of July, 2018, police operatives attached to the Command Special Anti-Kidnapping Squad, following a discreet investigation, arrested the above-named suspects for conspiring to kidnap Nnamdi Adimoha and Emeka Emmanuel, both staff of Day Spa. The victims were held hostage for about 5 days before they were rescued from the Karimu apartment of one of the suspects, Joseph Raphael.
Were you tortured? Were you maltreated?
How many
yes.
days were you kept?
These 4 days.
So that 4 days they were torturing you?
Torturing us, yeah.
How much is it demand?
Yeah, demand 10 million.
The United States government has condemned the repeated killings in the country and asked the federal government to step up efforts to arrest the situation. The charge d'affaires at the U.S. Embassy, Mr. David Young, said this on Monday while addressing the Peace and Security Conference in Plateau State. He highlighted the steps to be taken to end the cycle of violence in the troubled states and other parts of the country. He explained that the first step was to bring criminal actors arrested in connection with the attacks to justice by promptly arraigning them to face charges in the court of law. The former Bishop of Lagos Diocese of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Adebola Ademowo, retired yesterday amid controversy of misappropriation of funds and court cases. The Anglican Communion Lagos Diocese inaugurated its ministry and the enthronement of its new bishop taking over from the retired bishop. Having gone through due process, Right Reverend Dr. Humphrey Bami Sebi was enthroned as the Diocesan Bishop of Lagos at the Cathedral Church of Christ.
The Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion of Lagos Diocese today enthroned the Right Reverend Dr. Humphrey Bamishebi Olumakaye as the Diocesan Bishop of Lagos at the Cathedral Church of Christ. The 49-year-old was elected at an Episcopal Synod of the province on the 6th of February through a secret ballot. He was the Bishop of Osun North before taking over from the Right Reverend Ephraim Ademowo, who retired yesterday in compliance with the Constitution of the Anglican Communion that every clergy retires at the age of 70. Though in some cases there could be a voluntary retirement where a clergy chooses to retire before 70. Bishop Humphrey is now enthroned to take the baton from the retired Bishop Ademowo. The event was graced by dignitaries and other congregants in spite of the fact that it is the beginning of the week and a working day. In his homily, Bishop Olumakaye charged the congregants to be ambassadors of Christ and be the light as he challenged all to arise. Speaking to journalists, he expressed gratitude for the privilege to serve in his new diocese, depending solely on God's grace and guide. Others praised the former bishop for a job well done and wished him a restful retirement.
This is the beginning of my Episcopal ministry in the Diocese of Lagos. By the grace of God, we will all stand together to glorify God, edify believers, and multiply disciples for the Lord Jesus Christ.
Continue with the good work that Baba have led down, because this diocese is very, very important to the Nigeria Communion. And like he has said in the sermon, let the light of God continue to shine in this diocese and beyond, because light eliminates darkness.
Bishop Humphrey has now taken the baton as the 8th Bishop of the Diocese of Lagos. Amaka Okoye for Plus TV Africa.
Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his opposition rival Nelson Chamisa are reportedly said to be in a neck-to-neck race, with the first batch of election results expected Tuesday morning. The chairperson of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, Priscilla Chigumba, said during a press conference in Harare on Monday night that the commission had received returns from 4 provinces and was now awaiting results from the remaining 6.
The Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is pleased to announce that it managed to clear most of the queues in all of our polling stations by 7 p.m. That is the official and legal closing time. Vote counting has commenced in some areas in terms of the provisions of the law. This counting is conducted in the presence of agents, observers, and members of the press at polling stations.
Still on elections, Malian President Ibrahim Keita is leading in the July 29 presidential polls, according to provisional vote count in the West African country. According to his spokesperson, according to a tally, Ibrahim Keita has come substantially ahead. Muhammadu Kamara told Reuters news agency in a phone interview. He, however, added that despite the president's lead, he was likely not going to clinch a first-round victory, thus the possibility of the vote entering a runoff as by law required. Meanwhile, reports by local media indicate that the main opposition candidate's camp has rejected result tallies and are calling for recount of some ballots. Uganda's new social media tax will damage business and the economy and cool investor interest in its new IT sector that has wooed global giants Facebook and Google, industry executives said on Monday. Long-running President Yoweri Museveni had touted the levy as necessary to deter Ugandans from using social media for lying and squandering the nation's hard currency on fees paid to foreign-owned telecoms. Critics say Museveni's complaint about lying is code for his aversion to political dissent spread online. Local and international rights groups accuse him of increasingly trying to stifle opposition, in part with clampdowns by security forces. Envoy to the United Nations told the Security Council on Monday that Ethiopia is working to restore relations between two of its neighbors, Djibouti and Eritrea. According to Ambassador Takeda Alemu, Addis Ababa was doing so in the prevailing spirit of embracing an all-inclusive progress and development in the wider Horn of Africa region. He reiterated how dynamics of security and cooperation in the region was fast changing, especially with the Ethiopia-Eritrea peace agreement and, more recently, the Eritrea-Somalia normalization of relations. When we return, we will bring you the latest update on ex-Trump aide as he goes on trial over Russian meddling in U.S. elections and much more. Just stay with us. Paul Manafort will become the first of President Donald Trump's former aides to go on trial, accused of bank and tax fraud by federal investigators probing Russian meddling in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. In spite of a focus on financial crimes, the trial could yield politically damaging headlines about a man who ran Trump's campaign for 3 months and attended a June 2016 meeting with Russians, offering damaging information about Trump's Democratic rival Hillary Clinton that is now a focal point of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's 14-month-old probe. Prosecutors are expected to argue that Manafort's lavish spending on suits, homes and luxury items did not match the income declared on his tax returns, and that he misled lenders when he borrowed tens of millions of dollars against New York real estate. The chief of Malaysia's Civil Aviation Authority resigned on Tuesday after an investigation report on the missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 showed lapses by the Air Traffic Control Center in Kuala Lumpur. The report released on Monday on the disappearance 4 years ago of the airliner during a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 239 people on board shed little fresh light on one of the biggest mysteries of modern aviation history. In a statement announcing his resignation, Azharuddin Abdurrahman said the report had highlighted failures by air traffic control to comply with standard operating procedures, but had not suggested the Aviation Authority was to blame for the loss of the aircraft. Still in the news, North Korea appears to be building new ballistic missiles despite recent warning ties with the Trump administration, media reports say. Unnamed U.S. officials told the Washington Post that spy satellites had spotted continuing activity at a site that has produced ballistic missiles. Reuters news agency quotes an official as saying it is unclear how far the work has gone. President Donald Trump met North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in June. A special envoy of Indonesian President Puan Maharani visited Pyongyang on Monday ahead of the upcoming Asian Games in Indonesia. North Korea's state-run television KRT released still photographs of Indonesian Coordinating Minister for Human Development and Cultural Affairs Puan Maharani meeting with North Korean President of the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly Kim Jong-nam. During the meeting, Maharani delivered a letter to Kim Jong-nam, which was sent by Indonesian President Joko Widodo for North Korea leader Kim Jong-un, KRT said. Indonesia invited North Korea's Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in for the Asian Games, according to Seoul's Yonhap news agency. The two Koreas will field joint teams in 6 events across 3 sports at the Asian Games in Indonesia, a further sign of improving relations between the neighbors. Business report after this break. To stay with us. Global benchmark for crude prices rose on Monday as Brent crude stood at $75 per barrel, and West Texas Intermediate also settled at $70.21. This made Brent crude go up by 76 cents from its initial price of $75.52, while WTI rose by $1.51. This shows a contrast as crude production in July rose to 32.64 million barrels per day, a 70,000 increase, but oil prices have risen in recent weeks. However, supply of crude oil in the international market has suffered disruption within the Middle East, largely after 2 ships were attacked by Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis. On the activities of the Nigerian Stock Exchange from yesterday, our business correspondent Irene Ubani brings us up to date on all the trades and deals that took place.
The first trading day of the week at the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed on a positive note as the all-share index rose by 0.78% to close at 36,921.17. Leading the chart of top gainers were Seplat, which rose by 10%, and Stanbic also recorded a 2.57% gain. Top decliners were Total, which recorded an 8.41% decline from its previous close, with a difference of 16 naira 80 kobo, while Corn Oil also had a 10% decline, which was a 2 naira 70 kobo drop from its previous close. Leading the list of top trades with a volume of 100,009,070, valued at 193,017,535 naira 50 kobo, was Medview Air. On sectorial indices, NSE 30, NSE Oil and Gas, and NSE Banking all gained, while NSE Insurance dropped. Equity capitalization closed at 13.383 trillion naira, and the total trades was 3,992. Irene Ubani, reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Still ahead on Plus TV News, it's a roundup on entertainment and sports. We're back in a moment.
And in entertainment, popular Nigerian singer Wizkid has bagged an endorsement deal with producers of C-Rock, the vodka drink. The star boy made the disclosure recently on social media, saying officially with C-Rock. He also gave a shout out to other brands under his belt, including Pepsi, Nike, Dolce & Gabbana. The vodka brand is produced and marketed by the British-based multinational alcoholic beverage maker Diageo. Brother of the defunct duo P-Square, Jude Okoye, has revealed he used to be a bus conductor. Okoye recently shared his motivational story on social media, and he further revealed that he was once stranded under the bridge at Ijora back in 1995 before things changed. He said he had to work as a bus conductor to make a living. According to him, he worked the Ijora-Jibowu route at the time every day. Jude Okoye is not the only well-known personality to reveal such, as it will be recalled that some time back, Small Doctor revealed he was a bus conductor for over a decade. Still on entertainment, an American rapper from Atlanta named Asalinico was, according to reports, murdered yesterday. The rapper and his family were having a good time in the car when he was pulled out by some hooligans and shot. His family witnessed it all. They were all live streaming at the time he was killed. And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports right after this.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko with the biggest stories in the world of sports. In tennis, Andy Murray defeated Mackenzie McDonald in the Washington Open's first round, and the match was his fourth following his hip surgery in January. And for Andy Murray, he converted his 7th match point after more than 2.5 hours on court against the American. And the former world #1 will go on to play fellow Briton Kyle Edmund in the second round of the Washington Open. And hundreds of German supporters gathered in support of Mesut Ozil after he quit the German national team, citing racism and disrespect over his Turkish roots. And the supporters gathered in Berlin wearing I Am Ozil t-shirts, waving Turkish and German flags in solidarity with the Arsenal midfielder who said he received hate mails and threats and was blamed for Germany's disappointing World Cup. And although Germany's Football Association rejected the racism allegations, but went on to say it could have done more to protect him from abuse. In announcing his international retirement, Ozil said, "I am German when we win, but I am an immigrant when we lose." He thanked fans for their love during the Gunners' pre-season tour and has received backing from his teammates and new manager Unai Emery. And still on football, Manchester City new signing Riyad Mahrez has been cleared to return to training later this week, despite suffering an ankle injury in a club friendly. And Mahrez sustained the injury against German champions Bayern Munich in a club friendly and was subsequently substituted in the first half of the game, which Manchester City won by 3-2 after a tackle from Chris Richards. And Mahrez is likely to make a return to training later this week and could be available for selection in Sunday's Community Shield clash with FA Cup champions Chelsea. And that's all on Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Thank you, Udoka. And that's it. That's our roundup of events. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. To join us again, my name is Felicity Ezewike, wishing you a very great day ahead.